Hey, so we're about 2 minutes away from a SpaceX launch for today. And I figured I'd record it, even though I'm doing something else. What am I
Stage
doing?
2 lock load complete.
Oh,
And there's that call out just to confirm that the second stage liquid oxygen loading is now complete. Falcon
preparing
9 is
for
now
the
fully loaded
photon
with 1 million
clock,
pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen.
photon clock
Yeah,
STEM
it's launch
challenge.
closeouts.
Now the booster that you see on your screen
This
is
will be more
flying
exciting than
for
this
a
launch.
record-breaking 15th time today. It previously supported Crew Demo 2, Anasis 2, CRS-21, Transporter 1 and 3, and 9 previous Starlink missions. Reusability allows SpaceX to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket, which in turn drives
The
down
space
the
shuttle
cost
is
of
reusable,
space
but
access.
you could almost build a new space shuttle for the cost it took to refurb it.
And Falcon 9 is now in startup. The vehicle will be scheduled to land on our drone
Elon
ship.
said the
Just read
same
the
comment
instructions
about
today, and there you can see that on your
the
screen.
crew.
And we are now just waiting for the final
Crew
go
capsule.
from the
It
launch
costs
director.
almost as much to refurb
And
it as
there
it does
it
to build
is
one.
with all systems ready to go. Falcon 9 is ready to lift off with our Starlink payload.
It's not completely sure.
T-minus 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. Kind of cloudy. For those that don't know, I used to live on Merritt Island, where Kennedy Space Center is. I used to live a couple miles south.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
When I was in kindergarten.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff of Starlink 437. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Falcon is pitching downrange.
These things go off without a hitch all the time now. That's when it starts getting good, because then you can take the next step, like Starship. SLS. Not reusable. But you can get to the moon.
With the incredible views that we've been seeing, you can see that Falcon 9 has lifted off from pad 39A, carrying our Starlink payload into space. And we are throttling down the engines in preparation for Max Q. Max Q is the
supersonic.
Max Q is the largest structural load that the vehicle will see on ascent.
Max Q.
Max Q.
There's that call out that we have passed through Max Q. Now next up, we do have 4 events happening. That will be MECO, stage separation, SES-1, and then fairing deployment. MECO is main engine cutoff, and that's where all 9 of those engines that you see right now lit up on the first stage, those will shut down and help slow the stage down in preparation for stage separation. That will be when the first stage separates from the second stage. First stage will make its way back down to Earth and land on our drone ship. Just read the instructions today. And the second stage will continue with SES-1, or second stage engine start 1. And that's where we light up that MVAC engine on the second stage. And then shortly after, we will deploy the fairing halves.
Falcon trajectory nominal.
So far,
Nominal.
trajectory is looking nominal, and we are coming up on those few events. Just a few seconds.
Always amazes me, 2.5 minutes and they're like halfway to space.
You go.
Stage separation confirmed.
Next startup.
Like clockwork.
Fairing separation confirmed.
As you may have just seen, we had MECO, stage separation, SES-1, that MVAC engine on your right-hand screen, lit up, and we had fairing deployment. The fairing halves will be making their
Someday-
way back down to Earth, and we will be attempting to recover them with our recovery vessel, Doug, today.
Someday the second stage will be reusable too.
On your left-hand screen, you can see the first stage. You can see that the grid fins on the first stage have deployed.
Starship is essentially a reusable second stage. And there'll be cargo versions of that where they'll be able to
Acquisition of
satellite.
signal, Bermuda.
they can release a satellite, kind of like a shuttle, and then
Both
return.
vehicles continue on nominal trajectories.
And great call-outs there. Both vehicles are looking nominal. Again, first stage is making its way back down to Earth, while the second stage still has the Starlink payload attached to it, carrying it to its targeted drop-off orbit. Now, coming up next for the first stage is the entry burn. That entry burn will be where 3 of 9 M1D engines reignite on the vehicle. This helps slow the stage down as it re-enters into the Earth's atmosphere. After the entry burn will be a final burn that will be the landing burn on the first stage. It's just a single engine burn, the Center E9 engine, that helps slow the stage down as just before it touches down for landing. Each one of our M1D engines have about 190,000 pounds of thrust at sea level, and this is just enough thrust to help slow the stage down just in time for landing. Now, the entry burn that I mentioned is just under 2 minutes away on the first stage. But if you look at your right-hand screen, we do have some awesome views there. Incredible view with the Earth in the background and the sun in the background there.
Rocket Lab down in New Zealand is designing a reusable second stage on top of their reusable first stage. Looks like something
On your
out
left-hand
of,
screen is a view
James
of the first
Bond
stage.
movie.
Again, the grid fins are
The hatch
deployed.
opens up, or
This
the
helps to steer the
nose cone opens
vehicle
up,
as it makes
releases
its
the
way back to
satellite.
its landing zone. There are 4 hypersonic grid fins just between the inner stage and the top of the first stage vehicle. And these help guide the vehicle to landing zone.
Yeah, the nose cone on the Neutron opens up, and
You also may see some bursts of nitrogen gas there that helps with attitude control on the first stage.
it'll deploy
And we
a
are just
satellite
about 30
direct to
seconds
space.
away from
She never lets me talk.
the entry burn on the
Doesn't
first
she know I'm
stage.
talking? I'll let it slide. But yeah, the reusable second stage will be the way to put this into economic ability of you and I to either travel to space, send things to space, send someone to the moon.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
As you can see, the engines have reignited on the first stage.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And with that, the engine's shutting down. That concludes
Stage
the
1
entry
trajectory
burn.
nominal.
That concludes the entry burn on the first stage. Now, today's mission marks
1.5
SpaceX's
more minutes,
197th
and,
overall
Stage
launch.
2 FTS has
Satellite will
saved.
be in space.
And as mentioned
Satellite
previously, it's the
and the,
15th flight for this first stage booster, having previously
booster will
launched
be on the
14
ground.
missions
It's like
and
we're on a
breaking a
barge.
new record flight for flight-proven boosters.
Flight-proven boosters.
Now we're about 45 seconds away from the landing burn beginning on the
Stage 1
first stage.
transonic.
Eventually, there'll be like kind of like airplanes. You can fill them up and
As a reminder,
Fly,
Starlink is a satellite internet
fill it up,
constellation
fly,
designed and
come back.
manufactured by SpaceX to provide
Stage 2, terminal guidance.
high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe. Landing burn coming up here in just under 10 seconds.
And we're doing good.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there you can see that engine has ignited. Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches down on Just Read the
Stage
Instructions.
1 landing leg deploy.
I love the sparge.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you can see that Falcon 9 has touched down for its 15th landing for this booster.
15 times.
This marks our 58th landing this year
Acquisition of signal, Newfoundland.
and 158th overall landing of an
Nominal
orbital
deploy
class
orbit.
rocket.
Well, that's another impromptu coverage.
We also
of,
heard a call out for SECO, that is second engine cutoff 1, and we heard a confirmation of good orbit. And there you can see that MVEC engine has shut down.
Expected loss of
Hey, look at all
signal,
those
And
satellites
stage
stacked
2
up.
is now carrying 54 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit.
Whoever thought you could take 50, 60, 70 satellites up to orbit at once on a normal-sized rocket?
Thanks for joining us today. You can check social media for
Rumor is they
confirmation
can
of
get
payload deploy.
several hundred
And we'll see you again
in one
next time.
Starship launch. But well, anyway, that was that. And we're going to be doing some pretty cool things coming up soon, including this first off STEM challenge for Firing Room 1. And you might want to brush up on your hyperbolic and natural functions. They're somewhat, and the Raman Zeta function. They're somewhat essential to the
we will have some commentators from there.
to the formation of Bose-Einstein gas condensate equations regarding the actual dipoles that make up the electromagnetic field. And there'll be more on that coming up. And if you watch this, the photon evaporation video, that kind of gives you a indication of what this challenge is all about. And I'm going to leave you with that. And have a good day.